Harini and I feel that for a person to launch a legacy, you have to do something that is unique, and you're creating value that only you can create. And that comes from the abundance of strengths that you have already created for yourself. But it's not complete necessarily. Like someone can be a great musician, they could play music that just makes your heart melt, but they could be in the street um, trying to earn a daily meal. And what if you can help that individual to develop the ability to make connections, to close deals, to be able to present themselves in a way that gets their music around the world? Now, there are some people who can connect with anyone, who can market anything, but new product ideas doesn't just come to their head. What if you could help this person to become an expert in some area that allows them to create new possibilities? Now, some people have both of it, but then they just can't get their team to function. So they have to do all the work. So they're successful, but they don't have enough time. What if you get a person like that to not just be able to come up with an idea, a product, convince, sell, market, but also have a team that functions? Now, there are some people who can do all of this, but when they have to go from here to the next level, it takes forever because they're high on resources, but they don't know what they don't know yet. And that's when mentors come into your life. You know, the role of a mentor is to figure out, is to help you notice things that would have otherwise taken you 5 or 10 years. But here's the thing about good mentors is you can't buy them with money. You got to earn them. You got to build a relationship. They have to pick you up. In my own life, I've been blessed with a lot of mentors. When I was a young boy, a very young boy, I think I was in my third grade. I was a chess player, and I don't know why this. I'm just lucky, I think, sometimes. You know how this book thing happened for me. There was once I was a consultant when I was in high school, in college. Third year, I was a consultant to IT companies, and one of the client, he said, "I want you to create this project for me, Antano, but I want you to use Modex." And Modex is a programming language that nobody in the world has ever heard. And there's no book on it. And I said, okay, and I learned Modex by trial and error, and I implemented a platform, and it worked. And I was so unhappy with Modex that I wrote a blog on all the security flaws in that programming language. And someone, the second largest publication in technology field, saw that blog article, and they said, hey, can you write a book on this? So I think I'm just very lucky. But when I was very young, this man, he walked out of nowhere, and he walked around the room, and he went and told my father, I want to teach your son to play chess. And my father said, okay. And now the backstory is this. He's a yoga master. He's not a chess master. He's a yoga master who also plays chess. And he only has 2 students. One, and I was the second. But he did something for me. He shifted my attention completely away from chess for a while. And instead, he got me to do yoga. And he taught me meditation, and he taught me stuff. And I would do that every day in the morning. Now, when I look back at those days, it was as if my brain was just like becoming bigger or something. And I wasn't surprised that the first tournament I played, I got the state second. The one who got the first was a national champion at that time. And I can't thank him enough for what he has done. And over the years, chess has been a very important part of what I do over here. See, because what happens in a chess tournament is that in a chess game specifically is when you're an amateur, You're looking at, okay, will this person make this mistake? I can take this piece. It's a trap. But when you become a level, which is a little sophisticated than that, you're a professional, like you're competing to be a grandmaster, then what happens in chess is your opponent is going to be almost equally talented to you. So you're not going to get a silly mistake, but you're going to inch by inch push for a strategic advantage. So a position that looks equal to you, to a grandmaster, would be able to see, oh, this is more advantageous than for the other person. And so in chess, you have something called as the end game. The end game is what happens after 30 or 40 moves. There are very few pieces in the board, and what would appear like equal for a grandmaster, if they can reach that end position, they know from there they can win the game. So when a grandmaster plays chess, he or she is leading the entire game strategically to just get very small advantage. Because sometimes you just need a small advantage to win the game. So they're moving to get a small advantage towards one of the 100 or 200 patterns that they have already memorized. And each move from the beginning is not about what happens then, it's about what position, what formation they come into when they are like 40 moves after the game. And generally people learn endgame after 10, 12 years of their career in chess. But because of the experience I had with yoga and my ability to think through all those moves, my father started training me on endgame right at the beginning. And to me, ATC is very similar to that. What is ATC? You make adjustments, but you're not focused on the adjustments. You make those adjustments or corrections because of what happens as a consequences. It's the end game. It's where you're driving to. And to think about it, the training for that started way early when I was in my second grade, and by a man I had never met. And he came and he said, I want to teach your son chess. And he taught me yoga. But I'm so thankful he did that. Now, I went to Richard, I learned NLP, I came back, I'm working as a CTO, and I'm very happy in my job. And I'm just concerned about some of my teammates and friends, and they say I'm not able to sleep, I do procedures for them, and then they're able to sleep, they're able to quit smoking, they're able to leave drugs, they're able to get over that guy, that girl, and and that's going on. And then suddenly from nowhere, I get this request from a guy saying, now I haven't met him, I don't know him, he doesn't know me, he knows someone who knows me, who knows me. So we're at least 3 degrees separated, and he's not even in the same country, he's in a different country, but somehow he has heard that this man can help me get back movements, although this man had never done something like that before. So he writes to me and says, hey, can you help me get back movements? And then I am writing to all the people in the world who could help him, because I thought I can't help him. Because it's one thing to help somebody to overcome a limitation, it's another thing to help someone overcome paralysis, especially if it's a C5 fracture. It's like almost a nervous cut. So I write to everyone, including Deepak Chopra. At that time, I thought he might be able to help. I wrote to everybody, and I said, there is this young man from IIT. He works in a company called Mu Sigma. He's gone to the US. He's 25 years old, and in a moment, his life is just turned to a very disastrous place. Is there something you could do to help him walk? See, because I know that just because I couldn't do it, and just because the doctors couldn't do it, doesn't mean it's impossible. And I rather thought that it's very arrogant to think that it is impossible because you can't do it. So I said, if I can't do it, if the doctors can't do it, maybe there's somebody in the world who can do it. And I started exploring. And John wrote back to me and he said, Antano, if you're working with him, I will mentor you to help him. Remember, at that time when John wrote to me, I was already very good with NLP. I had helped my colleagues, friends in 45 minutes to get better sleep. I had helped Harini to remember those lyrics, that story you might have heard of. And, but I can tell you, when John wrote to me, and what I learned from him after that, I realized I knew nothing about neurolinguistic programming. Maybe if I had dedicated my life 20, 30 years to NLP, which I wouldn't have because I'm a tech guy, I would have gone and built something in the tech space. But if I had dedicated 20, 30 years to neurolinguistic programming, maybe I would have learned by then, what John has taught me in the last few years. So that's the role of a mentor. A mentor will compress time for you like nobody's business. And a mentor is not somebody mentor is different from a coach. A mentor is someone who's there, who knows it, who's done it, and they have a lifetime of experience having done it. I think the people who have their rarity almost complete, they could market, they could come up with a new idea, they could communicate it, they have a highly functioning team that gives them a lot of free time. Some of them in the world have the natural ability to attract mentors. Any genius, any legend you take of, Steve Jobs, Einstein, Newton, anybody you can think of, the Renaissance man, anyone you think of, they have all had geniuses teaching them. Not ordinary people, geniuses teaching them. And I think that's one of the most important capabilities that completes you, is to be able to be that person where someone who's, see, at that point in time, still now, even now, John Grinder is out of my league. I can't pay to get his mentoring. The last person he mentored is Tony Robbins. He's not mentored people, he doesn't mentor, he might be in a seminar. At that point in time, this yoga teacher was only teaching 2 people, including me. But they took a particular interest in coming and mentoring. And I think that's true of anybody who's created a legacy, simply because you have 70, 80, maybe 100 years. But why would you spend 20, 30 years reinventing what someone has already done before? And if you can buy someone to do that for you, then probably they're not in the next league already. And as a mentor, you want those people who are in the next league to come and in your domain show you that stuff.